Hi, Arcfieldweather.com meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Tuesday morning, September the 2nd. We'll talk about a very chilly air mass that will drop into the north central part of the nation later this week and then spread to the east across the Great Lakes into the northeastern states. That widespread, impressive, cooler than normal air mass will very likely produce some more record or near record low temperatures over the next several days across much of the northern U.S. from, again, the northern plains all the way to the northeastern part of the nation. We continue to be in a comfortably cool and dry weather pattern across much of the northeastern part of the nation, just finishing the month of August, which ended up below normal in some of the big cities such as D.C., Philadelphia, and New York City. More on that later. Let's start off here by taking a look at the tropical scene here. We're looking at the latest satellite imagery view of the eastern part of the Atlantic Ocean. Indeed, there is a wave, a pretty strong wave right here across the eastern part of the Atlantic Ocean. It is not a named tropical storm at this particular time, but it does have a pretty good chance, a very good chance, I would say, of becoming a named tropical storm. I will say in the long term right now, odds favor it curving away from the U.S. East Coast, never having a chance to reach the U.S. East Coast. We'll, of course, continue to monitor this. It's a long way to go here, but here is what is likely to become the next named tropical storm, and then it'll continue to move in a west-northwest direction over the next several days. Now, one thing I want to note here, we just came through the Labor Day weekend without any named tropical storms or hurricanes in the Atlantic Basin. The same thing happened last year, and the last time we had back-to-back Labor Day weekends without any named tropical storms or hurricanes was way back in 1991, 1992. So yes, this is quite unusual not to have any named tropical storms during the Labor Day weekend, and now we are right into the day after Labor Day. Well, before we leave the tropical scene, let's take a look at the latest accumulated cyclone energy. Again, this is probably the best way to measure overall tropical activity. It takes into account not only the longevity of tropical systems, but the magnitude as well. So a long-lasting Category 4, Category 5 hurricane would have a big impact on the accumulated cyclone energy. And now you can see here the North Atlantic has gotten kind of back to normal area right here, almost right at the normal value for this stage of the tropical season. And again, really the peak of the Atlantic Basin tropical season comes around September 10th or so. So still several weeks to go here. And you certainly can look at it like there's still a whole half of the game to go here. Again, the peak, climatologically speaking, right around September 10th. And we kind of raced to above normal levels for a while there when it was quite active, and over the last few days kind of dropped back to near normal. Now, on the northern hemisphere as a whole, still quite a bit below normal, thanks in large part to what's going on in the Pacific Ocean. We have the Pacific Ocean kind of split into two here, the northeastern section and the northwestern section, both of which are below normal for this stage of the tropical season. So far, nothing showing up in the Indian Ocean. But for the northern hemisphere as a whole, almost about 50% of normal here, what is about half of what we would expect by the 2nd of September. So just kind of an interesting metric that we like to follow through the tropical season. Well, let's get back to the continental U.S. We kind of went through the tropical scene, and first of all, the month of August has wrapped up, and nationwide, not too far from normal here. There was a lot of cooler than normal conditions across the eastern half of the nation and warmer than normal across the western half. Right here is the tally for the continental U.S. For the month of August, a little bit above normal at 0.29 degrees above normal. Now, in the Mid-Atlantic's I-95 corridor region, quite a pleasant month of August indeed. New York City turned out to be about 2.3 degrees below normal for the month. The third coolest August in 25 years in New York City. Philly, there were some reports of Temperatures in Chester County, for example, being measured at quite a bit below normal. An unconfirmed report of the sixth chilliest August in Chester County, PA, in southeastern part of Pennsylvania in the last 132 years. National Airport and Dulles Airport in the D.C. metro area, both about 3.5 degrees below normal for the month of August. In fact, there were only 5 degrees above normal, 5 days with warmer than normal conditions measured at Dulles Airport in the Virginia suburbs of D.C. So again, quite a pleasant month of August for much of the Mid-Atlantic region. Nationwide, again, a little bit above normal for August. Now, in terms of what is coming for the next 10 days, here is the total accumulated precipitation forecast map from last night's zero-Z run of the GFS. While it's been cool in the Mid-Atlantic region, it has also been very, very dry. Some of the driest readings ever for the month of August in parts of the Mid-Atlantic region. It looks like there will be a little bit of rainfall here, but not a heavy rain event in the offing. We do have the best chance of showers in quite a while coming, let's say, late Thursday night time frame, with a cold frontal system that will move into the northeastern part of the nation. There will be a secondary cold front that comes late Saturday night. That too can produce some shower activity, something we'll monitor over the next few days here, and something we'll hope for. We need some beneficial rainfall in the Mid-Atlantic region. Again, best chance in a while coming Thursday night into the day on Friday, maybe a second chance late Saturday. Now, one of the highlights here, notice this is a swath of some heavy rainfall. And in fact, there is a tropical system starting to intensify over the eastern part of the Pacific Ocean. And it looks like it may turn into a named tropical storm, perhaps a weak hurricane. Nonetheless, it looks like it'll turn to the north and east and end up over the northwestern part of Mexico. No doubt some of this moisture can fuel some rainfall in the southwestern states here with this monsoonal flow of air this time of the year. Expect some decent rainfall over those four corner states of Colorado, Utah, Arizona, and New Mexico. Not only the monsoonal flow, but aided by some tropical moisture from the eastern part of the Pacific Ocean. Well, let's take a look at the 850 millibar temperature anomalies, again using the zero-Z run of the GFS, and all these maps from tropicaltidbits.com. Starting off still below normal across much of the eastern half of the nation. Again, August ended up below normal in places like D.C., Baltimore, Philadelphia, New York City. We're starting off September below normal as well. Now, let's move forward here, and you can see at the top of the maps here a very impressive cold air outbreak reaching the northern plains by midweek. This is the forecast map, again, of 850 millibar temperature anomalies midday on Wednesday, and that will slowly push to the south and east over the Great Lakes region. I have no doubt that there will be numerous record lows or near record lows in this part of the nation come Thursday morning. We're talking the upper Midwest, the Great Lakes, the northern plains, maybe even some frost to deal with, which is a very early part of the season to have to deal with. Frost still, of course, in the growing season. That air mass slowly spreads to the south and east, and it's kind of a reinforcing shot by the upcoming weekend in the same part of the nation. The northern plains, the upper Midwest, the Great Lakes, and that also spreads to the south and east into the northeastern part of the nation during the upcoming weekend, probably by Sunday. Another very comfortably cool day and dry day in the Mid-Atlantic, in the northeast U.S. We'll go a little bit farther out in time. This is next Monday. And finally, a week from right now, next Tuesday, another chilly air mass across the northern plains, and also chilly conditions out across the west coast states of Washington, Oregon, and California. Again, this is a week from right now. Warmer than normal conditions across parts of the southwest and the Rocky Mountain states early next week. Well, let's wrap up with the surface forecast maps, as has been the case quite often over the past few weeks. Dry conditions helped in large part by strong high pressure over the northeastern part of the nation. Again, very dry month of August. Yes, it was cooler than normal and also drier than normal places like D.C., Philadelphia, New York City. And we'll move forward here. Not much hope over the next few days in this part of the nation in terms of rainfall. It looks like uh, comfortable temperatures and dry conditions right into midweek. This is the Wednesday forecast map, and here is a strong cold front right here, backed up by strong Canadian high pressure. Even some blue starting to show up here, indicating snow, cold enough for snow in south central Canada. Now, this particular frontal system will give us in the Mid Atlantic region the best shot at showers in quite a while. This is Thursday evening forecast map. Not a guarantee. Whenever you're in drought conditions or very dry conditions, the soil moisture gets very, very dry, and that is an inhibiting factor to a moist air mass moving in. But nonetheless, having said that, looks like this Thursday night there's a chance of showers in the Mid-Atlantic region. In the northeast U.S. does not look like a heavy rain event. And then there'll be a secondary frontal system right here on Friday that pushes its way into the Great Lakes, and again, Canadian high pressure behind it. And this air mass, this cooler than normal air mass, will drive to the south and east at the end of the week, going into the weekend. Now, this has also the chance of producing some showers in the Mid-Atlantic region, but I would say it's a little bit less likely with that secondary cold front than with that initial front. Right here, there's some decent rainfall, at least across the western Mid-Atlantic region, the Ohio Valley here by Friday night into Saturday, but then that tends to kind of fall apart. Again, that has been the case over the past several weeks in the northeastern states. That secondary cold frontal system right here tends to fall apart in terms of its potential rainfall here by the early part of the upcoming weekend. And then we get into the day on Sunday. This Canadian high pressure that started off up here drops all the way into the Ohio Valley by Sunday, and very comfortably cool, dry conditions in that part of the nation. Now again, a lot of moisture on this part of the nation over the next several days, partly as a result of some leftover moisture from what looks like will become a named tropical storm in the eastern Pacific Ocean that will end up moving into the northwestern part of Mexico over the next several days. So watch for decent rainfall over the southwestern part of the nation over the next 5 or 10 days or so. That's it for now. For ArcfieldWeather.com, this has been meteorologist Paul Dorian.